Mr. Popo just saw his best friend get knife-striked to the ground by some strange alien man, and his first response is like, "Would you like some juice?" With friends like this, who needs enemies? I always knew this chubby prick was not a real one. After the unfortunate death of Akira Toriyama earlier this year, Dragon Ball fans were really bummed out. Things have turned around recently as Akira Toriyama's legacy lives on, with the recent release of Sparking Zero and now this beautifully animated anime original. Actually, it's more of a remix, to be honest. At least that's the way I feel. Am I the only one who feels like we're getting a redo of GT? From what I can remember, the plot of this episode seems eerily similar to that of the first episode of Dragon Ball GT. The bad guy gets the Dragon Balls and the first thing he wants to do is turn Goku into a child. But this time it's the entire cast. We get better animation and more lore to the story. I like how they approach this series as they are tying it very closely to the Buu saga of Dragon Ball. We get introduced to Goma, King Goma, as Deborah was just killed, and Dagetsu, as they are watching the events of the Buu saga unfold. This first third of the episode had me dropping my jaw at just how beautiful it was. The short reanimation of the Majin Vegeta versus Goku fight was absolutely gorgeous. It's crazy to think that Dragon Ball Z would look like this if it was coming out as a seasonal anime today. These two are spooked out at just how strong the Z fighters are, so they come up with this clever plot of turning them into kids. And Goma wants some kind of strange Jigon Eye sounding thing, which will grant him a lot of power. I'm sure this will be of importance later on in the show. The second section of this episode is great, as this is where we get a lot of the comedic elements of the show. It turns out that Goma's planet has their own version of the Dragon Balls. The only problem is that these Dragon Balls are guarded by these three chimera ant-looking guys who are called the Tamagamis. Let's just go with Tamagamis. Since they can't use their own Dragon Balls, they get the help from Never, aka never share a bus ride with this musty ass guy. How can this man say the last time he's taken a shower was 1 year ago when he fell into some mud? I wonder if this is how Asmongold is gonna end up when he gets old, besides the whole being green part. They need Never, as he's created the Dragon Balls of their world, and apparently, as we find out later, this grants him the power of being able to control the Dragon Balls on Earth as well. After being roasted by a couple of cheaps, and Never showers, King Goma and Dagetsu get transported to Universe 7 so they can make their way to Earth. We transition to Earth to see that Trunks is having a birthday party. This is where I get a little bugged out. I've always preferred the Dragon Ball dub because I dislike the way Goku sounds in Japanese. I frankly find it weird that a grown man sounds like a woman. Also, I always forget that Krillin is Luffy. Mayumi Tanaka voices both of these guys. I haven't watched Dragon Ball in Japanese since Resurrection F, so I kept waiting for Krillin to switch gears on me. We don't get a lot from the main cast outside of this short party, which only amounts to a couple of minutes of screen time. This episode was very much focused on Dagetsu and King Goma. We arrive at Kami's lookout, and I'm stunned that Never can just summon all of the Dragon Balls towards him. I remember the days where it took dozens of episodes and the Dragon Radar to find this thing. Never have I ever showered shows up and summons the balls softly. You'd think the balls would make a heavier sound than that. I don't remember them being that light. We end the episode with Shenron being summoned. I find this funny as hell. Goma wishes for the Z Fighters to be turned into children, but Shenron wants specifics. What age do you want them? And what about the ones that are already children? King Goma is like, man, bruh, You're being picky. I'd much prefer him asking this question, to be honest. I think King Goma forgot the golden rule of shonen. For every 1 year in age, the main character's strength grows tenfold. Just look at Deku. The Z fighters get turned into children, whilst we get the new ending for this show. It's this nice chill pop song. It passes the bop my head test, so I don't think I'll skip it. Overall, I can say I'm excited to see what will happen next. And this is coming from a guy who isn't the biggest fan of Super and has yet to finish it because I found it really boring. It feels like we're getting the best of both worlds with this series. The comedic adventure aspects of Dragon Ball and the intense drama-filled high-octane action from Z. I just hope Popo doesn't get any more screen time. That guy's a joke. If you enjoyed this video, consider supporting future videos on Buy Me a Coffee.